you guys haven't heard already, myself and Summer, we love point and click games, obviously, and we're doing Kathy Rain's Director's Cut, which is an enhanced version of the original game. If you guys have no idea what this game is about, no worries, I will give you a breakdown. Kathy smokes a lot of cigarettes. Okay, there we go, problem solved.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but on a very serious note, uh, me and Summer has been playing this game on and off for a couple of months and scheduling issues. If you guys, we have roughly eight videos on the channel, on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna pull it up right now. 10 videos actually. See, I've been crunching this thing out pretty crazily. So we'll recover the first 2 or 3 days of the game. Essentially, Kathy goes to visit her dead grandpa and then falls into a mystery of how he died and what happened. If you want to know more about it, be sure to check out the YouTube link in the chat below. I'll probably be spamming it multiple times. There we go. That's the playlist. You can watch all 10 of our crazy kooky adventures so far to date, and soon to be more if you miss any part of the stream. Without doubt the way, let's do some Kathy Rain. The last thing we were up to is me adjusting the audio again.
Yeah, this stream would have happened earlier, but I've been ill the past month.
Yeah, you caught you.
Um,
Yeah, did you catch a cold or?
respiratory virus.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the one that it's not COVID. I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I tested negative for COVID. It was RSV, which is a different type, and mostly affects children. Like it's dangerous for children,
Oh
but
wow,
yeah, adults can also like people. I've always had bad lungs and not the best health in general. So for people who are sensitive to that, like myself,
that's
it's
crazy.
also somewhat dangerous. Yeah.
That's crazy. The most respiratory disease I ever caught would be whooping cough, where I just cough
Oh.
thinly, and that's not as prevalent as much anymore because modern technology, hooray, and albuterol working. Oh wait, have you ever used albuterol?
Um, I don't know. Maybe.
Albuterol is a medication. There's two ways to administrate it. Okay, medicine nerd talking. So they will give you a mask and hook you up to a machine, and the smokes comes into your it could be a face mask or a nose mask, and the smoke will come into your breathing, your nose or your mouth, and then it goes through, and then a couple of minutes later you're in coughing fit to expand your lungs. There's another version where it's a liquid version. The machine takes time, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know if it was exactly the same, but when I was younger, I also had to have like a mask and inhale stuff to for the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
No, yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
the whooping cough can be quite nasty. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I was also coughing like mad at the start of this month.
Yeah. Ho- Hopefully you're feeling a bit better than before.
Yeah,
And
mostly. Yeah.
oh man, wait, did I? Oh man, I actually think I forgot to do something. I think I actually forgot to let everyone know in your Discord. No, that's Wolf's Discord.
Um.
Your
Well,
Discord's a thingy.
I let people know on my Discord, and you did as well. So
Yeah,
double whammy.
double whammy. Yeah,
Uh.
yeah.
Yeah, I skipped Wolf's Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, did I notify everyone in your? Because it's like I usually have a Discord check. I was like, wait, that's Wolf's Discord, and your Discord has a different logo. It's the little thingy from Leisure Suit Larry, I think. Which I'll leave it as that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty much that. So continuing on, we're at the church, and we need to figure out more information about the weird plant that may cause hallucinations. And we saw Goober in church, so let's check on Goober.
Hi, Goober. Mind if we talk?
Shoot!
Right, this guy.
I love Goober. He's a great guy, you know.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
Whoa.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something, with Billy Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really. I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it. He's a friendly guy.
Yeah,
All right.
fairly
I might do
friendly
that.
guy. Oh boy.
I still feel sorry for Goober because he was like a successful actor or something like that before, or at least
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he was a normal guy, but then down fell his luck. He became homeless, but he still has his chipper attitude. And we also shocked him, so you know.
Oh yeah,
I don't need to
that's
ask him about that.
Don't ask about the red man. Okay, he wouldn't know about that.
right, Red Man.
Do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in 81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Abducted by aliens.
I should have known better.
Oh
Oh, I
god.
saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taking
Yeah.
the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
So the one thing consistent, though, he's crazy. A little off kilter. I can't say he's crazy. The light, the same lights that he talked about is also mentioned
Yeah.
in
A
the
printed
film.
picture. Ugh, I feel strange just looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was something
I
weird
feel
going on with those lights.
Yep. Let's talk to Isaac about his daddy's weird cult stuff.
Hello, Isaac. I've got a few more questions for you.
It's just funny that
I'm all
Goober
ears, my
immediately
child.
assumes that it's aliens.
Yeah. Let's talk about. Oh, he can't talk to him about his dad yet. Okay.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman
Mm-hmm.
and was driving through this area as he had done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Uh-huh.
The sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here, in Conwell Springs.
That must have been a great family move.
Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began
Yeah.
to refer to him as Father Bill.
Yeah, good old Father
I
Bill.
take it that window up there resembles what he saw
So the
when he had
lights
this
again.
epiphany?
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed,
Mm.
the stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity, as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Just curious. It's a captivating story.
Yeah.
Well, it was the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what
What
happened then?
Mm-hmm.
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and
This is
continued
definitely
to
a
grow
cult.
all the way up until his sudden death.
This is definitely a cult.
1983.
I'm
That's
sorry.
when
Traveling
I stepped in the
salesman
big leadership
found
role.
God and get some money. Okay, this was a
I
cult.
take it that the church started declining after
Very
the death of
typical
Father Bill?
Americana.
Yeah.
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was
Mag.
irreplaceable.
Oh my
But
God.
I assure you, the church is still very much thriving.
Thriving.
Looks kind of empty to me.
It's not really off-peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
True.
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
Okay.
I mean, this guy doesn't seem
That's all I need for now, Father.
ill-intentioned,
May the
but
Lord shine his light on you.
the whole thing just reeks.
Yeah. Like, hey, your dad may have ran a cult. You know how it is.
Did the inscription on the ring look anything like this?
Wow, actually exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. Frank can go BH. So, if you remember from last stream, he sold and stole a ring that had the same initials, BH, which is the same as the lighter that
Oh yeah.
Kathy has. So, and this lighter belonged to Kathy's dad. So let's check out. Let's see if Grandma knows about this.
Good question.
Yep. Also, we need to unlock a motorcycle.
Oh, nice! Finally. Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a neat one.
We did. Yeah, we did it. We unlocked. Yeah, it only took a couple of playthroughs, but we finally got the we got a new motorcycle. This game is really peak achievement hunting right here, man.
Well, I thought they unlocked at certain points in the story or something like that.
Oh yeah, you do. But I just like
Oh,
we're
hello, dear.
roughly day 3 in the game, and it's like, wow, I get my first motorcycle. Great, thank
Yeah.
you.
Exactly. Interesting that it took so long.
There are a few things I need to ask you, Grandma.
Very well, dear.
All right, let's ask Grandma about BH.
Do you recognize the acronym BH? It's on Dad's lighter.
Yes, dear, it means the Black Hats. They're those ruffians on motorcycles whom your father associated with.
Fair enough.
Oh, his biker gang. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
I refuse to talk about those hoodlums. They turned your father into a horrible person. You should stay far away from them, Kathy. They're awful people, just awful.
Mm.
It's a weird
See you later,
name
Gramps.
for a biker
Take care,
gang.
dear.
To be fair, I'm not gonna be mean to the developer. The developers are from your neck of the woods in Europe, so
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cliffside Games, yeah.
right. Again, not so that their idea of like, yeah, that sounds like a biker name, the Black Hats.
It
That's
certainly wouldn't sound like one to me.
yeah. Not yeah. So I'm more like they probably thought it sounded cool at the time.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to ask the hospital. Yeah, let's ask Wade. Maybe Wade, because Wade was friends with Joseph. I mean, well, Joseph. Probably not.
Right. This guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who got rich then.
Yeah, he wasn't a jerk though. At least, but I liked the first time you meet him. He's like, take your stupid picture and leave. I'm here to talk to you about something. Just leave. She's just vibing.
Yeah, the nurse is just rocking out at her desk.
Charles Wade. Hello, Mr. Wade.
I have some more questions, Charles.
I'm listening.
Yes. Hey, what you know about the Black Hats?
What can you tell me about the Black Hats?
Not much. They used to stir up all sorts of trouble, but Truman kept them in check.
What about now? Are they still active?
I believe they are, given the incompetence of Sheriff Briggs.
I love this guy's
Sure
voice
they're
actor.
having a field day.
Oh man.
Do you know where I can find them?
Not exactly. They have a clubhouse somewhere outside of town, but that's all I know.
Okay.
I think when you first go into
Thanks, Charles.
the
That's all I
sheriff's
need for
office
now.
at the start of the game,
You're welcome.
about the
Kathy.
police station,
Come back
and you
anytime.
go to where the sheriff is, I think you hear him mentioning
The Black
the
Hat.
problems with them. Yeah.
The bikers. He did. Yeah, we got arrested at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not in the original game, but this is in the director's cut. So hooray!
Oh,
Little sense.
okay.
Yep. Also, speaking of games, I don't know, I just finished the entire Blackwell series again, and that was
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I'll have
Nice.
I'll have the final epiphany on YouTube soon. I took a small break because it made me cry, and it was my birthday.
Aw.
But honestly, though, it's a great series. I consider it like one of the modern masterpieces of point-and-click adventure series. Like it's a masterpiece in
Yeah.
its own right. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's up there with the greats of the genre.
Yeah. The only thing though recently is I think you were I don't want to bring up any Twitter drama. There was some people trying to make a timeline of like this is the certain era, certain games. Like the '80s is Lucas or the golden era. This is this era,
Oh,
2000s.
that, yeah.
Yeah. You. I saw you tweeted about it. If you want to talk more about it, if you want to, I'll drop it. If not, because I want to know what was that whole thing about. That was a weird thing, the discussion.
Well,
Hey, Eddie.
I don't remember
Hello,
exactly
Kathy.
the whole
What's up?
discussion, but it was pretty much about how now, yeah, so there in the 80s and 90s, it was the original era of PC gaming starting, and along with that, LucasArts and Sierra bringing story games, adventure games, point and click puzzle and story games into the limelight. And
Yeah.
those were super big back then until the mid to late 90s, when both those companies kind of started fading out and 3D was taking over action games, that kind of stuff. And then about 10 years later, there was the resurgence of the genre started with the indie scene, and like Watch It Die Games was very much in the forefront of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion and some measure of controversy about, did it really go away? Was there ever a time when the genre was completely dead? Has it now been resurrected by certain people? I'm more on the side of the genre just was not nearly as big as it was before for a while. Other genres were way bigger, but it was certainly still around in some capacity. And then slowly but surely it started growing along with the indie
Yeah.
gaming scene.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit of a controversial subject, but I definitely think that like Watch It Die Games, Dave Gilbert made an amazing contribution to the genre and to just how people perceive indie gaming and our kinds of games, these narratively driven games with puzzles, which are like not really the norm anymore nowadays, but there are still many that are
Uh,
like hits or popular or
oh yeah, I definitely agree.
resonating with people.
If I had to make a correct timeline, a little more accurate, I would say I don't really believe it was a golden era. I would say like maybe mainstream, but like
Yeah.
in the '80s we had Sierra, the '90s we had Lucas Art, and then like they kind of blended together a bit. Like around the 2000s, you can see like maybe a dip because we tried to. There was 3D adventure games. A lot of them didn't do good. But I also say the '90s was like Lucas era and others. There's Revolution Studios when they made the Broken Sword series, and there are several others. So it's like
Yeah.
I would say the '90s, if there was ever a gold, would be the '90s because there was still people also playing Sierra games. Remember, I think it was in '92 and '93. I won't correct me if I'm wrong. Gabriel Knight 1 came out, and that's also I have to play that soon. That is just people tell me nothing but good things about Gabriel Knight 1, Sins of the Father. That's just like
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, that was 93. That was like the
93. So
peak.
yeah.
That was the peak of the genre back then, and how big LucasArts and Sierra both were. But yeah, I agree that that's not necessarily like a golden era. It was a great era, many great games came out, and it was very mainstream back then. But plenty of great games have also come out since then. So it's not
Right.
like everything back then was necessarily the best.
Yeah, like to me, like I want to say if you want to call it a downtime or maybe a dark quote unquote dark age will probably be around the time where every every adventure game was kind of trying to be 3D. Like from like I want to say right around the time like Broken Sword 3, and you could even say Grim Fandango. No insult to Grim Fandango. Grim Fandango is a masterpiece of a game, but it did not sell commercially well when it came out. I had to actually,
Yeah.
I had to look into people. Like that's not true. Me doing research. Oh snap! This actually did happen.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, that was the late 90s that started. Yeah, it was because of 3D, suddenly Doom, Quake. Every game wanted to try to be like them and was like, oh, adventure games have to go to 3D as well. And it really failed because, well, it was just too early and they just weren't approaching it in the right way. And the funding and interest from the big publishers was running out. So yeah, the
Right.
genre just died that way
Right, and then after that era, we had like,
at that time.
yeah, we had, and after that era, we had like other companies like Delic Entertainment and some independent developers like, I said Wadget Eye Games because people like, oh, I remember Dave commented on this because I'm checking my phone because I have it saved. Someone said the Dave Gilbert era was 2010. Like I'm gonna be honest, the first Blackwell game was 2006, bro. Please, just don't generalize your timelines, bro. That's very significant. So like in my time, the limelight dipped away from 3D point click adventure games like right around I call the 3D era to like maybe like 2002 2004 ish. But there was still games like the Delic Entertainment made some games. There was some others. There was like Hector came. There was a lot of like other publisher games that came out. Sam & Max was part of that 3D era, I think, that came out. The new one, the one by Telltale Games.
Yeah. Telltale kind of was the hugest one back then, especially with The Walking Dead, of course, that put it right back on the map. But even before that, indeed, Daedalic, Wadget Eye Games, from the mid to late 2000s onwards, they were already releasing relatively high-profile adventure games again. And yeah, if the
Right.
genre was ever completely like out of the mainstream, it was only for a few brief years in the first half of the 2000s, I would say. After that, it started really making resurgence.
Yeah.
There's always just gonna be great stories to tell, I think.
Oh, 100%. Like as we discussed earlier, like, it's the games we mentioned, and the reason why I'm a huge Blackwell fan. I know more about the game than I should, but I think like it's there. I don't think I ever played a game where it's reciprocal of its storytelling, where the ending becomes the beginning in a way. And no spoilers, please watch it on YouTube. I have it on YouTube. Check it out there. Oh, hey Sin, hope you're doing well. So I feel like that's like up there. There's Return of Monkey Island was super successful. Oh yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate that. Return of Monkey Island came back. Roberta Williams, Colossal Cave. I'm excited, and the fact that the Williams are back is interesting. I want to see, maybe they have some new ideas in the pocket. Who knows?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that already. It's a very interesting situation there. I don't know if we'll see more of them, but I'm certainly curious. If they do, I have streamed Colossal Cave, their new game this week, and so to be clear, that's Roberta and Ken Williams, who were the original head honchos of Sierra back in the
Mm-hmm.
80s and 90s, and so it was like a huge deal that they were coming out of the woodwork to make games again after being out of the industry for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, they kind of wanted to, just like in the 80s and 90s, push the boundaries again a bit, do something innovative, just like they did back then, always trying to push technology. And so they made a VR game pretty much. It's very VR focused, and I think as a VR game it could be pretty good. I played it not in VR, and it's still enjoyable, but yeah, you can just tell that it was made to be VR first, and that there's some issues. And also just because they decided to stay extremely faithful to the original. It's a reimagining of a 50-year-old text adventure game, so it's like
Right.
the first big text adventure game. And well, you can tell that like some 50-year-old design choices don't really work now in modern games, in visual games like this. So yeah, I don't agree with everything they did, but yeah, they still, I still give them a lot of props for doing it. And yeah, I still enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to more if possible.
Yeah,
But we'll have to see.
and speaking of text parser games, they're kind of making a comeback with the good buddy, I don't want to say his real name. Kina Games, the creator of Single Echo. That's a text parser game, and there's also Julia Yamata. I'm butchering her name. I'm sorry, Yamato. Making the Crimson Diamond. That's also a text parser, and that was something And by the way, I never liked text parser games. They're really hard. Like I'll be honest with you, the first time I played Leisure Suit Larry 1 and I died. That's how bad I was at text parser games. I couldn't open the door. That's how bad I was.
Yeah, it's text parser games. You have to really figure out what the game wants you to do and how to describe it. It's very different because in this kind of game, like Caddy Rain, you can just see what's going on, and you have a few options which are interfaced to to do stuff, to click on places, to make certain interactions, talk to someone, pick something up, use something on something. But in text parser games, it's just like whatever you write, either the game will accept it or it doesn't, and you really have to figure out how to interact with the world and solve puzzles, and
Right.
that's
And
what
that
makes them so challenging.
Right, and those games were popular in the Sierra era, and they kind of fell off. And I do mean this very politely. They kind of fell off right around like the '90s, like that era, the Lucas Art or the Lucas Art or the mainstream era. Like they just like people just weren't really playing them, and they just kind of fell off in like design. But here they are. You're on to 2023. They're making a comeback. So it's like I feel like when I think of point-and-click adventure games, there's so much diversity and space coming back. That's why I kind of have a little disagreement with people saying look the Dark Ages, because it's like yes, there was a time in limelight, but the game still kind of came out. It wasn't like, how to put this, they fell off the map. The entire genre died. Like this genre stopped existing, except for that time that you went to Adventure X, where all of the developers had a meeting saying, "How can we kill adventure games again?" Like if and that's a secret cabal stuff. You should really have a conversation about that. Like, can we kill it?
That was just completely meant sarcastic, tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Like, yeah, well, point-and-click games are back now after so-called being dead. How do we kill them again?
Exactly. Yeah.
Some really funny ideas there.
Yeah. Like once they add an RPG leveling the mechanic, that'd be great. The funny thing is that before we get back to Kathy Ranks, this is a lovely conversation. One of the things I want to try is because the internet's great and all, and in Steam, I want to try the Quest for Glory series or the King's Quest series, because they're a blend of RPG and point and click. And even though I've seen videos on One Short Eye speedrunning it, I like to try it on a casual level because it's like this is such an interesting idea. I'm surprised we haven't like tried this again, at least in point and clicks again. Like it's an RPG and also point and click, so I think it's kind of cool. It's like 2 for 1, you know?
Yeah, the Quest for Glory series are indeed great games and certainly unique in that regard. There have been some other games that have done it, but they've actually been fairly derivative or similar to Quest for Glory, just because it was so seminal and formative in that blend of point-and-click adventure game and RPG. But there are some other great ones to check out. So yeah, the Quest for Glory series, and then Quest for Infamy, Heroine's Quest. Those are 2 great ones that I can think of off the top of my head, but they're very similar to Quest for Glory. So if you want to see kind of what they first did with that, I would certainly recommend checking those out. But they're also parser games.
So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, okay. Here,
they're a mix. They're a mix of. Well, it depends on the version, but yeah, with the first 2, yeah, they're like point and click and parser.
Okay, so it's like a hybrid, like
yeah.
like you know, and again, I do mean it's like guys, check out. I'll see this on YouTube. I played it with Mint Sater, the Single and Echo. You can also try it yourself on Steam. Try the demo. It's really good. It's Single and Echo, like it's kind of a hybrid text parser and point and click. I don't mind those because it does feel like there's always a way. Like if I can't solve it via like a puzzle, maybe I have to interact in a certain way. So I kind of like those hybrids because it kind of makes it do one. But as at least you, Larry, I will never forgive that game for I got killed at lefties on like Grade Day 1. I didn't know you can die like that, and I will never forgive that game. You know.
Yeah, it's certainly a harsh mistress.
Yeah. Yeah. No. The only thing too is like, and if you guys are gonna play older text parser games, particularly Sierra games, my opinion, they're more difficult simply because of there's less hand holding and there's less explanation of mechanics. So you might, if you use a guide or like a glossary, go ahead, because there's a lot of like things you may not understand. Like, oh hey, you have to say pull, like, you know, open the door, not just open, you know, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. You had to figure everything out yourself, which also related to the parser. Just figuring out what to do and then how to make the game do it was already very difficult. And then, of course, those games were also very often full to the brim with moon logic, just very strange, illogical puzzles that only.
Hey, did you like the video? Remember to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell as well to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at GetSelious or my Twitch channel, which is in the description below. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.